what's going on, guys? This is Will at the Wangzilla channel. A little troubleshooting and hopefully repair. This time in regards to my NV3500. And this has the V8, the 2019 Nissan NV3500. Pretty much is a Nissan Titan with a 7-speed transmission. I believe it's a 5.3 or 5 point something liter V8. It's powerful. I mean, so far it's been a great car. I almost have about 40,000 miles on it. But today, on my way home, I started hearing a super loud whine sound coming from the engine bay. So yeah, I'll go ahead and start her up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we are with the car running, and as you can hear, that loud sound. That's not normal. Car does not normally sound like that. Hopefully you can even hear me. I'm recording this on my phone, and at first I thought maybe it was a belt or an idler pulley. So I had my my little stethoscope or whatever the things are called, and I kind of wandered around until I could narrow down the sound to this hose here coming off the manifold. I'm not really familiar with this car, but it pretty much runs to here, and it looks like it may have split or collapsed back here. So you can see I squeeze the hose and the sound goes away up here as well. So I'm going to pull this off and see what the heck this thing even is and what's going on, and I may have to replace this hose. And I have the car shut back off, and I'm going to take my trusty pliers. I'm just going to take this hose off so I can look at it. Thankfully it's short. Maybe it's PVC hose, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really done a ton of work on this car yet. I'm not as familiar with it as I am with my ZL1 or my Explorer. So I'm going to go ahead, and since I don't have my tripod or anything, since it's kind of a last minute troubleshooting situation, I'm just going to go ahead and get these pliers, remove this hose, and we'll take a look and see you know, what's going on. It looks like it may have just collapsed, which is then causing some kind of weird restriction in the air that's flowing between these two areas, and then causing it to make this a super loud, annoying sound. Here we are with the hose off the car. Of course, the engine bay on this thing is kind of dirty. This is the family cruiser, so ignore the funk. I will get this thing cleaned up sometime. But I mean, it's got some decent structure, but this is where it looks like it was collapsing, and it feels like it's completely just flattened out here, and I can't really see that well in there, but I'm guessing it's not supposed to be so dead right in this one, because you feel over here on this side, I mean, it's nice and stiff, just like you like it, all the way around. So something happened here causing this to collapse. Maybe just a hose with heat just gave up. I mean, the car's got 37,000, 38,000 miles, so not a lot. So I'm going to try to figure out exactly what hose this is. Maybe I can pull the part number off here and order a replacement, and then get this thing going again. Here we are, zoom back in. Pretty much is where one end went, the other end up here. I believe it's PVC system, but I could be wrong. I will be doing some research on this and seeing if I can get this thing ordered. So I will report back once I get the new hose in and see if I have eliminated the weird, annoying sound. And it's not my kids this time. It is now the next day. I found the part. It's an evap hose of some sort. It runs from here down to here, and I've ordered it, but it looks like it will not arrive at the dealership until tomorrow. So what I'm planning to do temporarily, just so I can drive the car today, 'cause my I need to go somewhere that's decently far away, and the weather looks poor, so I do not want to drive my ZL1, and I don't trust my Exploder for long trips yet. So I'm going to see if I can just get this piece of same size rubber hose. I'm going to cut it to fit between these 2 points, clamp it in place, and then this should work just fine for the day until I can get the replacement official, formed hose. So, I mean, technically I could probably leave this in place long term, but I'd like to keep, especially for a newer car like this, I'd like to keep the OEM replacement part. I will post the part number that I found for this hose in the description. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, hook it up, and we'll see if this does resolve the sound, and will be either a very cheap fix for those who want to go that route, and make this a permanent fix, or just a temporary fix. Here is the original hose that I'm having issues with, and as you can see, problem appears to be the structural integrity of the hose here has just given out. It's super soft and it's crushing in, so when there's any kind of suction or anything like this, the collapse causing me a very annoying whistling sound. Temporarily, I have stolen the little clamps from it, attached it to this hose that I cut. This one you can feel is much more rigged the entire distance. I'm gonna go ahead and input these between the manifold and I guess the valve cover or whatever, and then I'm gonna clamp it in place. When I get the replacement one of these, I think I will just use more of a worm gear type clamp instead of these compression clamps, which do kind of weaken in time. And then we'll start the car up and see if the sound is gone. I mean, it will be disappointing to lose my super cool supercharger effect on my NV3500, but I think my wife would be a little bit angry if she had to hear that. I have the hose in place. Fits pretty good. Like I said, I have it set to be a temporary fix. This could technically be probably a permanent fix. And this is 3/8 inch hose. You want to make sure you get the fuel emissions grade or whatever, because there will be oil vapors in this hose. I'm gonna go ahead and start the car up and see if the sound has been eliminated. Back in the engine bay, the car is noisy in general. That is normal. Sounds like direct injection and whatnot, but the extremely loud sound coming from the hose area is gone, has been eliminated. So I would consider this issue resolved. I will get the OEM hose swapped on here hopefully tomorrow to finish out this video. But this just gives you multiple options. You have the the dollar fix, or the $20, which is what I think I paid for the official OEM hose from Nissan, and that would be the more if you want an OEM appearance. This obviously does not look OEM, and really I don't have this cut super precise. I just have it kind of tucked behind the oil cap here, and ran like this. I mean, you could probably run this to look better or even unnoticeable. Thankfully, I just had this hose laying around, and it worked out fine. So we'll swing back here tomorrow and take a look with the OEM hose and wrap it up. Back at it. It's now a few days later. My OEM replacement hose has came in, and it looked like the part that I had found was correct. Here is the part number. I guess they call it a blow-by hose. And I'll go ahead and get this opened up and then show you how much it's changed from the collapsed one to the brand new one. Here is the old hose right here next to the brand new one that I just picked up from the dealership. Keep in mind, I could not find this really online at a Rock Auto or anything like that. I had to actually order it through the dealership and pick it up. They do also ship most of the times, but since it was only a few miles away, it wasn't a big deal, and it only took a few days to come in. And take a look here, OEM one versus the old OEM one, and then the big trouble area you can see right here. Notice how the older one has collapsed. I mean, it's got no resistance here. You can just pretty much squeeze it apart, and it's definitely, I'm not sure if it was heat or whatever. It wasn't laying against anything, so I don't know if it's just a heat issue or just a bad product. Hopefully this new one will last a little bit longer, but as you can tell, it's not deformed, and it looks pretty good. The current temporary fix that I have in the van right now, which is just a hose I cut to fit, could be permanent, but because it is a newer car, I didn't want to keep the OEM parts for now, and I figured for $20-ish, I'll go ahead and just pick this one up. I'm going to swap the clamps with some new ones just in case the older ones have lost any of its clamping power, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing installed. Here we have my temporary fix, holding up strong. I put 100, 150, maybe 200 miles on it the last couple days. Zero noise, zero driving problems, no check engine lights or anything like that. So this could be a permanent fix. Of course, I would have trimmed it slightly different, maybe ran it slightly shorter if I wanted this to be my permanent fix. But for 20 bucks, I figured I might as well just do the OEM replacement. And I have brand new clamps on there, as you can see. Kind of have them positioned so they're easy to access, and this will go in just like this. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the temporary hose, and then we'll get ready to put on the new one. Temporary hose is off. I'm gonna save this just in case this is a design defect or something with these hoses and this one falls apart after 30-something thousand miles. I'll just throw this one in my toolbox and save it just in case I have a similar issue or another hose with similar problems. I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of oil to the little nipples here so the new hose can slide on easily. There we have it. The new OEM hose is in place. Everything's buttoned up nice and tight. I'll go ahead and start the car and just verify that it is indeed still not making the sound of demons screaming from hell or whatever it was, and hopefully is nice and quiet still. And there we have it. Noise has been eliminated. I have the new OEM hose in place. And really what I did to narrow down the problem areas, I used one of these mechanic stethoscopes or whatever, kind of like a doctor's scope with a funnel on the end. And I was able to put this in my ears and kind of just drill down to the specific area that was causing the sound. This really works for anything, not just necessarily the Nissan NV3500. But if you do have the Nissan 5.6 liter V8, it may be a similar issue with this hose. I believe it's the same hose on the Titans and the Nissan NV3500. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But this can really be used to isolate any kind of weird sounds coming from your car and maybe help you troubleshoot a little bit quicker. So yeah, issues resolved. The temporary fix, only probably cost $1 worth of 3/8 inch hose. Could be a permanent fix if you didn't want to go down the OEM hose route, and but I went with the OEM hose in the end just because it was about $20, and I'll put the part number in the description below. And anyways, hopefully I have some more content, hopefully not actually troubleshooting an issue, but maybe some non-issue related stuff for the NV and my other vehicles. Feel free to subscribe and leave a comment below and let me know what else you'd like to see or any suggestions or anything else. Thanks a lot. Peace.